Listen, you're not gonna find anything on me, okay? Trust me.
Empty your pockets into the tray, sir, or we'll have to. Your pockets, sir?
Lady, the problem isn't in my pants.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. In a rare 3 weeks in a row, we actually have new X-Men comics to talk about. Now, I wasn't particularly excited to read X-Men Demon Days from Peach Momoko. Obviously, she's a wonderful cover artist, an in-demand cover artist. Haven't ever really seen her interior work. Didn't know that I really wanted X-Men in a manga-inspired universe. But after reading issue 1, I must say, I am very surprised. Do I believe that X-Men needed to be adapted into this? I'm not certain that it's even an X-Men story, but it's a beautiful to look at. It's a very fun story. It's got a bunch of characters you like, and one of the fun things is trying to recognize who these X-Men characters are. As they don't exactly translate, directly to the character. They might have a similar name or something like that, but it was kind of fun.
I agree. I was not looking forward to this in the slightest bit, and in fact, I was absolutely certain that I was going to despise it, but I didn't. Was I super in love with it? No. I mean, it's. But this thing, you're right. It was very well illustrated. It was an interesting, well put together story. It just didn't appeal to me because I'm not a big fan of the style. And I was really surprised at how good Peach Momoko's interior work was. There was only maybe a handful of pages or a handful of panels that I wasn't entirely didn't think, wow, this is really good, or this is very clear and I completely understand what's going on here.
Yeah, there's a couple of panels here and there, but for the most part, the artwork's exquisite, and the story is really fun. It's a wonderful little Japanese fairy tale integrated with some X-Men characters that maybe have some characteristics of X-Men characters, other characters throughout the Marvel universe. I'm giving it a 4-star. I'm tentatively going to say this is a highly recommend. It's right on the edge of recommend, highly recommend, but I enjoyed it so much. And I think most people, if they were just curious about the book, well, I'm an X-Men fan, I don't know what this is, but I'll check it out, I think a lot of them are going to come back. I don't think there's going to be an enormous drop-off for this one, because I think the people that wanted to go in there, they were curious. I think they're going to have enjoyed their story.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm going to actually give it a 4-star, even though I didn't really like it, because it was very, very competently put together. This was one of those stories where, how a lot of the comic industry for the last few years has been, every time something we think is bad, they just say it's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
This one was very, very good and just not for me.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. Well, let's get into it, Doc. There's lots of good stuff to talk about. Let's talk about this art. It's obviously manga inspired. We get this opening kind of montage. It's kind of just telling you the setting of the story, but you get a flavor for what the art's going to be like. It's got wonderful watercolors as far as the color palette and everything used. Like you said, the character designs are cool, and it's just fun to look at. I quite enjoyed the whole thing.
I'm not a huge fan of fantasy. I'm not a huge fan of fairy tale, but I'm not a huge fan of manga or Japanese kind of traditional storytelling, but it was still really, really well done. And I knew exactly what was going on. I could tell, the Oni with the giants that lived up in the mountains and the humans. And I understood they made it perfectly clear from the beginning that it was about this fairy tale of fantasy with giants and human and conflict and them trying to find a way to live in peace, but somebody always screwing it up. Yeah, you had the cool little Easter eggs. The coloring was great, even though I'm not usually a fan of the watercolor, the same way that Phil Noto and his little baby legs bugs me for interior art. This felt like they got it right.
Yep. So let's get into these characters. So I just want to make sure that I got them right. So the first two characters on the left, the first one's called Psy. That's obviously Psylocke. The wolf is called Logan. That's Wolverine. I can't remember the name of the demon, but they call him Venom. That's certainly Venom.
Snake.
Juju is Jubilee.
That would be my feeling too.
And then Hulk Mara obviously is Hulk. He's one of the ogres. And then I think it's Suki. I think that's her name. Was that a character reference as well, or is that just an original character?
I don't know. I couldn't tell if it was like supposed to be like Danny Moonstar, or because it has a similar design to Danny Moonstar, but at the same time, nothing about the name or the attitude really felt like it was. So I'm leaning more towards original
Okay,
character.
good. So did I. I couldn't pin that one down. I was like, I might be that one just might be an original character. So we do get 5 characters from the Marvel Universe. Not all of them X-Men related, but it's a wonderful little tale. In the open, we see that this ogre, this Uni, has come down. He's stealing the crops from this local village. That's when we see Tsuki come out, and she's got her bow and arrow, kind of drives him off. And then next day, coming into town is Sai with her wolf Logan, and they see what's going on. And she's a sellsword looking for a place to lie her head. She doesn't want to sleep on the rocks anymore. Perfectly great open. You knew exactly what was happening and where the story is going. But this is essentially a one-shot story, although it's a miniseries. If you got 28 pages, you got to tell your story in 20 pages.
Peach Momoko did a very, very effective job in that, because I guess the next issue is Demon Days somebody else. It's not X-Men #2. It's something different. But they did a really good job with Sai and Wolverine, or Logan, sorry, the Uni, really kind of making it clear, like, okay, attacking the village, sort of, but raiding just to get food, not attacking the people. No, it was really good. You got a very clear a clear establishment of the situation. Then you introduce kind of the variable, which is Sai and Logan, and you kind of run your adventure from there.
Yep. So the next thing that happens, so that they're willing to hire her. They're like, yes, Sai, we would like to give you a place to sleep if you can help us with our Uni problem. And it turns out that is not the only problem. They've got a Venom in the house. He comes and he takes over their temple. He's an enormous snake that looks like Venom. It's a combination of a couple of mythologies there. And apparently he shows up in the temple. He eats people until he's full, and then he goes away. And there's only one person in the whole village that can help them out. Her name is Juju, obviously the offshoot of Jubilee. She uses some types of magic and fireworks to weaken the serpent until it leaves. They have to deal with this big Venom problem.
Yeah, they kind of established that Jubilee, Juju had been the one that had taken care of this problem, because it's come back a few times. And in the past,
she's fat and lazy now, and they have to feed her all day long, even though she doesn't do much.
Yeah. And it's kind of this, like the way that they sometimes refer to mutants as witch breed. So magic, witch breed, and then her power being to use fireworks in the normal universe. But this time, she just literally makes little fireworks. And Venom's weakness being sound and fire. She would have been the perfect person to run off Venom in the past. But apparently he's stronger now. He's grown. He's bigger. He's more powerful. So
and they don't want to weaken him now. They've got a plan. They want to eliminate him. So Juju and Sai start talking. They're going in there like, the problem is we need the Oni to help us out. And Sai is like, listen, I have dealt with the Oni before. I have sat by an Oni campfire. Let me go and talk to your ogres, see if I can work with them, and you do your thing. And she starts putting some fireworks together, and we see Sai. She ends up going to the mountains. Then we learn, Doc, did you know that he was going to have a cart of gold? It wasn't his fault, Doc. He was just trying to feed his kid.
I very much expected that. Humans are bad, and like, it was the misunderstood monster in the hillside.
Well, that's a lot of fairy tales.
I know.
Eat your portion. You don't want to be greedy.
Yes.
That's a theme throughout time.
Humans encroaching upon nature, and the Oni being the monster of nature, but you're taking away his land, and you wonder why he gets aggressive. It's very, very kind of traditional, classic and modern tropes all kind of mixed together into one story, and not surprising at all.
That's when we learn this ogre's
The
name
noble
is Hulk Mara.
savage.
Certainly, he is the Incredible Hulk in this universe, and he's got to take care of his little baby. Is that baby a reference to any type of mutant, or is that just a cute little demon baby?
I think it maybe a goblin. I don't know.
Perhaps a goblin baby. We're not completely certain. But she goes there and she says, listen, I will make sure that the village does not encroach upon your area anymore. Take your food. They will leave you in peace if you come and help us out, and we can strike up a deal. He agrees. And we finally get this wonderful action scene at the end. And it was so much fun. It's not vibrant because of the color palette, but it's vibrant because of the action and the pace at which everything is going and happening, and the use of the paneling. Peach Momoko can do some damn good action.
She really can. I wasn't really sold. She was much more of a cover artist, so I wasn't really sure what to expect from her interiors. But her panel layouts, there was a lot of action, there was a lot of energy to them. And that's the thing that that's the one thing in comic book, especially superhero comics, that I felt has been really lacking in the past number of years. Having energy and action to panels, even when they're not the most dynamic of poses, or something's really going on that's super crazy, there's still some feeling of energy and movement to them, and she managed to bring it on every page. I really liked it.
Yeah, so you get your nice fairy tale, then gives you a nice little morality tale that kind of goes along with traditional Japanese American fairy tales. But you get your nice X-Men action here too. There's fireworks going off everywhere, and eventually they do defeat Venom. They slay the serpent. He's no more, and it's time for Psy to go down the road. At the end, we do learn that the wolf Logan lost an eye.
Yeah.
In combat. I believe it's in here in this middle panel on the page. But we also learned that wolf has a healing factor.
Yes, he heals up super quick. I don't know if it's necessarily a healing factor, but the wolf is injured, loses an eye because he fights the kind of the Venom symbiote kind of by itself as it's getting separated from the serpent, and the Venom symbiote takes his eye and cuts him up a little bit, and he's going to sacrifice himself, but he doesn't need to, and he heals up.
And now you're telling me that the next one's not going to be an X-Men Demon Days story?
No, my understanding is the next one is Demon Days Mariko, whatever that is.
Well, we learned that the story is being narrated by Mariko.
Yes.
She's reading the story as a little girl. And obviously that does tie into X-Men lore. And
we also see that the Wolf Logan is still there. He's still alive. So like Wolverine of our lovely X-Men comics, he lives for a very long time. So now the question is Psy still around?
We shall see. I'm going to be honest with you, Doc. I think you don't like this quite as much as I do, but I am on pins and needles waiting for this next issue. I thought this was thoroughly entertaining. I thought the art was really good. Highly recommend. Now that I think about it, maybe it's a 4.5 star comic. There's nothing not to like about the story. I think it's just tricky. Yeah,
honestly, from in a completely objective way, everything about this is very, very good. It's just not my style. And that's wonderful.
Because you're old.
I know, but you know what? I highly, highly, highly recommend this. If you like at all Eastern Japanese style storytelling and fairy tales and a little bit of fantasy and manga, buy the shit out of this. It's really well done.
Well done, yeah. Peach Momoko. I didn't know, what it would be like as an interior artist, but I must give a tip of the hat. Very well done.
You get nothing but compliments from me. Even though it's not my thing, I still might read the next issue. I don't know.
You should. It's really good. So that'll do it for this week in X-Men. We know that there was an issue of Hellions. but we don't have time for that one. Doc, give me your 20-second review on Hellions. Is it good or not?
It was really good. Go read it. Hellions is still the best ongoing X comic. Next to it's right there with Wolverine and X-Force, and if not better.
And there you go. There's your exclusive right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. Doc's 20-second Hellions review. You will get it nowhere else on the interwebs.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.